What is up, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfugal TV. So, people have been through the ringer this week because of different YouTubers, different people basically coming out and putting their reputations on the line by saying something is going to happen in 90 days or a year or whatever this is. So, just like the moon thing that happened when YouTube went out, I believe that it's basically telephone and it is something coming from fact, but it has come down the telephone line and gotten kind of put out of proportion. But what it actually came from is actually just as ominous and very unnerving. So I already know that this video is going to get a lot of hate and people are going to say it's fear-mongering, whatever. I'm just trying to relay what I know and what I have found out. There is some sort of countdown that started that was emailed out to multiple, and we're talking about multiple state officials, government officials, and this was kind of like a 500 days until climate chaos, only it started in July of this year. Now, it was 482 days until something kicked off, and now there's people trying to figure out what this is. As far as there's a lot of things that coincide with this same event. There is every state nationwide, at least in the U.S., is quietly been given a deadline to prepare for a nuclear event. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. That means that every state has to have an actual drill played out and actually have kind of a backup. Now, we have Donald Trump pulling out of the treaty, which limits the amount of missiles, because he said many times before that Russia has violated 1,000,000 times. Most people say, oh, that's nothing. You know, they're in this whole other world. There's a lot of things happening all around us. And by around us, I mean outside of the United States that we are completely unaware of. Another thing that came out is a gentleman that actually writes for this. Let me pull this up. Nuclear Matters Handbook. Secretary of Defense, this is blah, blah, blah. Basically, this is an overview of the nuclear weapons platforms. Well, apparently one of these gentlemen has come out on Chan, proved himself, and basically has said that they're adding about 3 different capabilities to their nuclear platforms. So we've known for a while that they're spending a lot of money renewing our nuclear capabilities. Now, again, this video is not only going to get a lot of hate, but it's anything with this word in it, the nuclear word, it just like instantly gets thrown out the window in the algorithm. So definitely share this, because a lot of people emailed me. They were very scared. John X Army heard from a reliable source. I think that it got twisted because I saw his stream before he deleted it. I could have sworn he said it was a year out, like, you know, a year being 365, which would kind of make sense with the whole 482 deadline that a lot of higher up people have heard. But then people are emailing saying that it was 90 days, that something is going to happen in 90 days. I was watching that stream, and then John, he even said in 30 to 40 minutes, I'm going to delete this. So a lot of people actually screencasted, screenshotted, and they were freaked out. He said that we basically, this is what he said. He said that I'm going to demonetize all my videos. He said that money doesn't even matter. Ad revenue doesn't matter. Donations don't matter. Use your donations and go buy yourself some food and supplies. That's what he said. And you could take that as he was being sensationalist. You could take it and say, well, you know, you could say a lot of things. But one thing that I can say is I have actually, I sent him. I said, I think your timeline's a little short. I've been hearing about this for the last 9 months. There's something big coming that is literally bigger than any of our brains can handle. And the regular 9-to-5 Joe that thinks that there's never going to be a, something coming to us, that's ignorant. That is ignorant. You know, ignorance is bliss. And that's truly just putting it out there. I've gotten a lot of crap. I've gotten emails. I've gotten angry emails saying, oh, you talk about it's boring. No, actually, I talk about a lot of stuff on this show. And I try to communicate it with as many of you as possible because the point of my show is not to get rich and famous. In fact, I've done everything I can not to have people know where I am because it's absolutely, in the beginning, I got my tire slashed. I had a fire lit outside my house. I mean, you guys were here for all this kind of stuff. So, and the stuff that I'm talking about is not popular subjects. People, these kind of videos talking about this, they don't get you love and affection. They get you a lot of shit. So, a whole list of things are going down, and you really have to not. You could take it at face value, but then when you look a little bit deeper, it's some crazy stuff. So, by the way, China is planning by 2020 on launching an artificial moon. This is a light source from space or low orbit. This thing would actually orbit and light up areas with no street or basically a lack of electricity, and it would save energy costs, and it would light up the streets better than, say, light posts. We're talking about an actual, this isn't fake news, this is real. The night skies might soon have company. Chinese scientists are planning to launch an artificial moon into orbit by 2020 to illuminate city streets after dark. Scientists are hoping to hang the man-made moon above the city of Chengdu, the capital of China's southwestern Sichuan province. According to a report in the Chinese state media, the imitation celestial body, essentially a illuminated satellite, will bear a reflective coating to cast sunlight back to Earth, where it will supplement street lights at night. Now, please, think about this for a second. A satellite is going to be reflective enough to actually light the city below it. Now, the fact that people think that all of this technology, that consumer technology, like our cell phones, our handheld computers that go into our pocket, that are, basically filling us with radiation, that has gone this fast and this far in just 10 years. Even if you look, I was just watching NCIS from 10 years ago. In fact, it was 9 years ago, and they had the Razr flip phones, and the coolest game on it was like Tetris, and I'm not even kidding you. The phones got cooler, but the games pretty much stayed at that crap for a while. And you're talking about a 1 megapixel camera. That's 10 years ago. Now we have, we're holding mini DSLR cameras in our hands that can also do absolutely everything our desktop does. In fact, I believe Verizon and AT&T, they're all releasing a Samsung notebook that has the same processor as the S9 Plus, basically tweaked. So this is what we're talking about. If people think that our technology has gone that far and that fast in the consumer range, imagine what they have. They are easily 20 to 30 years, and I'm talking about whole leaps and bounds ahead of us in the government light of things. They have space-based weapons, and I did do a video just showing you the video about a week ago by UFO Seeker caught something breaking up in the sky in California. Then a couple days later, BGR did an article, and I actually can show you the article. Basically, I had to unlist that video because the guy had UFO Seeker is very, very copyrighted. He doesn't like any stuff used in his videos, and I can totally understand that. But out of respect, I just basically pulled it out. But what is crazy is he caught this thing falling out of the sky, breaking up, and it is one of the only Iridium satellite that has supposedly been in orbit for 20 years and then all of a sudden lands in a farm in California. And then this guy finds it, takes it to the local sheriff. The local sheriff says, I don't know what the hell that is. And then the local sheriff goes up above him. They confirm it's an Iridium satellite, which is a company that has hundreds of satellites above us. And they said it's from basically from the 90s, I would guess, since it's 2 decades old. You're talking about, a really old satellite. And they have never, as far as that company, Iridium, they have never had a piece of a satellite hit ground. And this one did not only hit ground, but it hit a farm and ended up being found. Another thing that people are saying, and this is actually something that for some reason has trickled down to law enforcement, doing these little trainings out of stuff falling out of the sky, space junk. And that's why actually China is, and I'll show you, China is shooting space junk with lasers. And why is that necessary? Well, some say that the atmosphere, as far as how it burns up stuff in the atmosphere, the layer that burns things, so an asteroid or space junk, basically most stuff burns away. Well, apparently, and this is not something I know as a fact, but this is what's being said. Apparently, that layer is getting weaker, and it's not breaking up the same way that it was 30 years ago. Now, I'm not saying global warming, global cooling, or anything like that, but there is an argument that we might be poking holes in our atmosphere with different rockets. They did say, so just to show you, China has a plan to clean up space junk with lasers. Now, I'll show you. This happened probably 3 months ago. SpaceX breaks hole into atmosphere. And it was because of how it flew up. Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket tore a hole in the atmosphere. Fortune. Falcon 9 rocket tore a hole in the atmosphere. It said Elon Musk rocket company SpaceX made waves in 2017. It also tore a hole in the ionosphere. Scientists have determined that the launch of the company's Falcon 9 rocket on August 24 punched a temporary hole into the layer of Earth's atmosphere nearly 560 miles wide. That's as big as some of our states. Well, the effect is not permanent. Here's how the rocket impacted the ionosphere and what it means for humans move forward in spaceflight. The ionosphere, of course, is the layer of our planet's upper atmosphere between 75 kilometers and 1,000 kilometers, or between 46 and 621 miles, where the sun's energy and cosmic radiation ionize atoms. The solar and cosmic rays strip atoms in the area of one or more of their electrons, giving them a positive charge and leaving the electrons to act as free particles. It's a bunch of scientific terms, but basically it strips all the it's like a water filter for the light, for the rays. Ionosphere is important because the concentration of ions and free electrons allows it to reflect radio waves. This facilitates radio communications across distant points on Earth as well as between satellites and Earth. During the day, X-rays and UV light from the sun provide energy that continuously knocks electrons from atoms, creating ions and free electrons that separate particles and constantly colliding, recombining, and becoming electrically neutral atoms again. So at night, without the energy from the sun, more particles combine than are ionized, and the ionosphere shrinks. While the cosmic radiation still affects this part of the ionosphere, only the atoms of the upper portion continue to ionize. So what happened is, because you see most rockets actually go at an angle. In fact, it's one of the flat Earth arguments that you never see the rocket go straight up. You see a rocket basically go at this kind of tilt. It just kind of goes sideways. Well, apparently this one actually basically went straight up. It says, rather than fighting the force of gravity to fly straight up into the sky. Oh, no, this was backwards. But actually what I think of is every rocket kind of does that anyways. It says, rather than fighting the force of gravity to fly straight up in the sky, rockets normally take a curving trajectory. That's right. So yeah. And travel nearly parallel to the planet's surface at 80 to 100 kilometers above the Earth. This allows the spacecrafts to carry larger and heavier objects into orbit that would physically be possible with a vertical flight path. So this was a super skinny rocket. It says for the Formostat 5 mission, SpaceX flew in August 2017. The Falcon 9 rocket was carrying an Earth observation satellite for Taiwan's National Space Organization that weighed just 475 kilograms, a light payload. Since the satellite was light enough, the rocket took a nearly vertical path into space, and this caused the Falcon 9 booster and second stage to create a circular shockwave and punch a large hole through the plasma of the ionosphere. They say it lasted up to 3 hours. But here's the thing. People have not studied the long-lasting effects of this. A lot of people do not believe that it even... One thing I know is maybe if there wasn't space, if we were on flat Earth, there's definitely stuff up there. If you are a flat earther, I respect that you have a different view, but at the same time, for us that do believe in the galaxy, I think there is a lot more going on than what we are being told. I mentioned the Tianjin explosion. That was definitely so uncharacteristic, even of a chemical explosion. They said that was some sort of plant, that there was chemicals, whatever else. If you see the video from 50 different angles, it was a very, very odd explosion, and it was explosive. So I'm going to go to the chat real quick, see what you guys say. I know a lot of people will be watching this afterwards. I am super blown away that there's 270 of you right now at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's probably 5 in the morning for some of you. But again, a lot of you guys might be watching this over. So as far as the countdown, I know that a lot of people are going to want to get back to that. Why, I guess let me just ask the question, why are all of the states, and by the way, so I also covered this. I also covered that that my state and others went in to basically pass a law to hide bills, to hide laws from our state. That mine wasn't alone. California, Idaho, Florida, there was Texas, there was all these other states that they went in, they passed this law, and it was super quiet. In fact, I'll just show you real quick if I can find it. They went in, and within minutes, they came back out, and this thing was to block what kind of laws they are passing. Now, from somebody standing above, if you could imagine the regular, just average person being on the ground, and then, say, somebody, a high-ranking official, being above the fog. It's like a plane that flies over the clouds, and then all of a sudden you're in free space. That's how these guys are. They can see absolutely everything while we are stuck down below the fog. There is something real coming. And people can call me, fearmonger all day. I don't really care. At this point, we are running... If people think that it's normal that Trump won, that was supposed to happen, our system was rigged. It was rigged in every last way. Media, everything, absolutely everything was supposed to make the other opponent win. And I'm telling you guys, this wasn't meant to be, and it screwed up everything. It put the world, and it twisted it. It literally twisted everything that was supposed to be planned, and it turned it on its backside. Nobody and I rarely use the word deep state, but the deep state has gotten more shallow, I guess you could say. The people in the deep state have come out and up, and they are chattering. It is nuts. There are good people in high-ranking places, and they are absolutely scared right now because of the things that are happening all in a line. So let me show you what they did here, and they did it in your state too. I guarantee it. Let's see. Where is it? In and out. I don't know why it only showed one thing. That's just weird. I've never even seen. That's weird. Is that weird to you guys? It doesn't. One result. Doesn't it show you 80,000 results? Even if you just. It could have done 80,000 things on Congress. That's just super weird. Okay, it was in the Seattle Times. and I've actually covered this in my videos. Seattle Times. It was a bill. I always get the... Yes, this is it. I'm glad I found it. February 23rd, 2018. So this is almost at the beginning of my channel. Washington state lawmakers, and of course, I hope I can see this. Washington state lawmakers make speedy move to shield their records from the public. But this doesn't only shield their records. It actually shields stuff that they are doing. It shields the laws they are passing. It shields things, and they say it's for our own good. There are preparedness laws going on, especially in California, Oregon, and Washington, that they don't want you to know about. Like Chris Goldfinger said, he said there was nothing mentioned on the news, nothing, absolutely nothing. And there was a military carrier right outside, right off of the coast of Oregon, having freaking landing crafts land into, I want to say he said, Newport Bay or something like that. And then ambulances coming off this landing craft. He goes, what the hell is going on? And they said, oh, this is a Cascadia drill. Not mentioned in local news once, not mentioned in national news, never. The thing is everything is popping up. It's like, yes, you could call yourself a conspiracist or whatever, but if you put everything together that's been going on in space and on the ground, there is something seriously up. All of us in this field get information, and now all of us at the same time are getting this kind of information. It's just crazy that... So you talk about, John X. Army. I agree. Sometimes he gets very emotional. He's very into his stuff. He does what he says. But he really did talk to somebody. I had an email conversation back and forth, and the last thing I sent him, I said, man, your timeline is super short. You're going to scare the shit out of people. But then when you look into it, there is so much going on. People are talking global reset before the next election. People do not want Trump again. There's going to be some major events. I don't even want to go over some of the hypotheticals, because say we did lose a president, actually lose one, and I don't even like talking about that subject, but that's the kind of things that people want right now. People are joking about it in entertainment. If something like that happens, our country would explode. I couldn't believe it. I saw on a channel, I was watching a video, and the ad between it was an ad to impeach. It was literally an open ad to everybody saying, hey, sign the petition. We're getting this guy impeached. I couldn't believe it. I mean, okay, fine. They want to use their freedom. They want to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for this ad to get him impeached. It's not going to work. But guess what? That's how serious they are about this. They are very, very, very angry about how it ended up. Now, at the very same time, you have all sorts of things happening. Now, with China launching this artificial moon, I will tell you this, they are so far ahead of that. They have different things up in space that are doing all sorts of things. My cousin, I won't say his name, but my cousin is actually kind of in the middle, lower ranking, and my cousin got to use technology, and he told me about it. This isn't even out to the public yet, but this is something that's actually going to be released through... I believe one of these conferences where they show all of our new weapons off, and this will be declassified, but we're talking about weapons that sync up with satellites, and you can shoot a freaking, basically like a bullet drone, and this thing will actually go into windows, go wherever, and then blow up. I mean, we're talking hundreds of miles away. Somebody could basically sit in a freaking house, shoot it, go out the window, go up, go all the way out, and then basically go in, and the entire time it has an AI, artificial intelligence, basically helping it find that person. If that person leaves, it will have facial recognition. It will be able to basically launch up. It will be able to even see the shape, height, the last weight, the last color hair of this person, and then it has to do the physical confirm. So this thing's the size of a baseball, but can literally go hundreds of miles, a battery that I believe lasts for hours and hours and hours, and we're talking about this big, and enough to just take somebody out. We saw it with the President Maduro, that video instantly, like that video that I did got banned immediately. I did basically a video covering that President Maduro, they tried to cut him off. I'm trying to not say assassinate, but I'm just going to say it. This video is already screwed. They tried to take him out via a drone, and it was not successful. This was something that happened about a month and a half ago. I think all you have to type in is Maduro drone. How the drone attack on Maduro unfolded in Venezuela. And it's crazy because you can see the video of it. You can see everybody looking at the air. And then all of a sudden, he got shielded. I don't know how many people got hurt in this one. I don't think it was done very well. And then the sonic attacks. The sonic attacks that have been happening on different embassies. This is all just the beginning. They are starting to use the technology. And they're going to use it on public. I bet you, bottom dollar, they're going to use it on unsuspecting innocents, and say one country will use it on another. You're talking about technology that somebody's going to go, we don't even know what happened. It's going to be unexplained until 10 years later when it's declassified and you realize we might have done that, or they might have done that, or this was actually a weapon. You're talking about a whole new faction opened up that is not even talked about as far as chemical warfare. Now they're talking about drones with chemical stuff attached to them. All sorts of things like this. And then the sonic stuff, as far as putting in 5G, people really are okay with 5G being up to 90 gigahertz, and we're talking about 95 gigahertz is used by the Army to incapacitate people. If you look at the towers that we currently have, what is weird, I didn't realize until I really started looking at them, they are about every block or so, every block or two. Sometimes they're hidden, sometimes they're not. These things are massive powerhouses of places, and the bottom of them always has this gigantic power source. I mean, you're talking about every 2 blocks there's this thing. That's 4G. That's the light. That's like the nothing compared to what's coming now. You're talking about boxes every few houses or so that's going to be beaming through all of us. And somebody flips a switch, they can incapacitate us. But get this, there is a plan to actually police us via AI. And not only that, there is an actual plan, and they have actually said they would love it. And this is their ultimate goal, where if you are not committing a crime, you should not worry about it. But if you are committing a crime, say you rob a bank and you walk out the front door, if they have identified you, they can stop you in your tracks. You're talking about they can track you wherever you are, and then they can stop you, not with a gun, but with this system. And they are putting it in. They hypothetically talked about this in government meetings. This is something that was publicized and under different names. And now they're putting in 5G, and they are talking about these big companies doing these mergers to come up with this so fast. It's like, what is the hurry? We already have a fast connection, enough fast for anything we're doing, but wait, we've got to connect all of these new devices that are going to be implemented. They say it's the Internet of Things. They say it's your smart toaster and your smart dishwasher and all this, but it's not. It's way more than that. We're talking about an incredible amount of technology being used by the other side, Big Brother. So I hope you guys are ready for the next year. This is real. This is that we're going to see absolute pandemonium. And that's why it is so important to prepare your family, prepare your stuff, prepare your supplies. We're not crazy, we're just preppers. And that's what I have to say. Holy shit, 393 people. What is up, Tony Simply, Scott Trout Hats, Becky K in Australia, Todd Moyes, never heard you guys. I hope that even the haters, even the trolls, I really hope you guys prepare for something. Like, even if you want to come in here and talk crap, I know that you'll get off and it will be in the back of your mind, be like, man, maybe I should get some supplies. Maybe I should go get some food, get some water. Maybe I should invest in actually getting a weapon of some sort. We're talking about people, it's going to blow people's minds. We're talking about higher ups are getting, and then why? Why does every state have to do this training? Why does every state have to be basically prepared for this? The presidential alert kicking in when it is. The upstream surveillance. Why are they tracking all of us? And people said, by the way, if you didn't see, I know that this is old news for most of you, but after I posted that video on the 2nd, on the 3rd, Edward Snowden came out and confirmed exactly what I said and actually explained it. So did John McAfee with the E911 chip and McAfee of McAfee antivirus. It's called upstream surveillance, and they're kicking it in hard. And also, there's something to think about is, man, talk about if there is other countries involved. We're talking about our technology companies might end up screwing us in the end. What if, think about a double spy or a double-edged sword. What if they are working for other sides? I don't understand how we can even say, and we actually declared, Mike Pence declared China our number one foe, and then we have our biggest company that is literally running the United States. I mean, they say that Trump won because of how much internet swayed people, right? That's one of their excuses. So that same company that has so much power, you're going to let them do the same thing for a different country, in fact, your declared enemy? Does it make any sense? You've got Project Dragonfly, Project Maven in the works. Maven, which is going to be artificial intelligence, and then they've got in South Korea, check this out. I did a video on all of this stuff, and I've been basically checking off these boxes. Look at this. Killer robots in South Korea. Our ally is actually making these things. And that's not all. People have been protesting it. South Korean university boycotted over killer robots. And by the way, they denied it, right? They said, nope, it's not Terminator, it's none of that. It says, leading AI experts have boycotted a South Korean university over partnership with a weapons manufacturer, Hanwha System. And Hanwha, they're actually working on weapon system, and they deny it. They actually deny that they are somehow working directly with a weapons manufacturer, and they are AI, and they're not making killer robots. How do you even get that from that? More than 50 AI researchers from 30 countries signed a letter expressing concern about its plans to develop artificial intelligence for weapons. In response, the university said it would not be developing autonomous lethal weapons. Autonomous lethal weapons. Think about that. You're not talking about a drone with a gun on it. You're not talking about a bomb drone that drives up and it can shoot a bomb or blow itself up. No, you are talking about autonomous. You are talking about something with its own brain and weapons. And why do you think they're so concerned? And not only this, you see these movies with future cops and cop robots that basically run the street and, hey, just put one on the corner of every ghetto neighborhood and just it being there will stop crime. We're talking about Terminators, and they're actually doing this. We are almost to that point. Have you seen the robots that we've been making? Have you seen the artificial intelligence in Sophie? This is absolutely insane, and we are going to see it in our lifetime if we live that long. And then the countdown, we have actually had the technology for now 5 years. We are spotting things that are coming our way every single week. I've been telling you guys, every single week there has been an asteroid that is between us. Just a couple days ago, we had an asteroid pass between us and our satellites. Do you guys realize how close our satellites are? We can see our satellites. Our satellites are so close that they can put a mirror on it and reflect it as street light. You're talking about Project Bluebeam going on. Now, I didn't watch John's video. He basically did a video saying it was the fake invasion is coming. Project Blue Beam, whatever it may be called now, is real. We also knew 2 people, and there was an ex-subscriber, and we fell out about 6 months ago. This person was actually on the team building stuff that could actually put images in the sky. One of my still subscribers worked on the connectors for nuclear bombs, and she said that it's been so much more in the last 5 years. Like, it's just completely kicked up. She makes the actual, basically like a digital spring for our nuke bombs, and she said that the orders have gone out of crazy. They had to hire people. This is somebody you've probably talked to in chat. Some of you know who I'm talking about. As far as the people on Project Bluebeam, you're talking about some crazy stuff. You're talking about making hundreds of thousands of people see something in the sky and be absolutely sure of it. If there was a threat, like Reagan says, of some other planet, we would all team up and be friends. Or we could be completely controlled. There's so many different ways this could go, and that's why I'm saying I have information, but like most of you say, everything is so compartmentalized right now. We know something is coming, but we need everyone's help. So if you are ex-military, ex-law enforcement, we all have to pool our resources. My assistant is still friends with people that she is still friends with people that do the emergency management planning for military. I want to say, and you can correct me in the chat if you're even here. I'm so sorry I went late, but this is like real deal. Tony Higgison, thank you. Hey, Marv, glad I caught you live just to do this. Keep up the great work. Love you, son. Thanks, Ma. No, but seriously, thank you, Tony. And thank you, Bethany Bridge, Rosanna Nelson, Deborah Seisler, Spencer Grimes, Heather McKinnon for subscribing. This is huge. And thank you, Mondo Gonzo, if you're in here again. So when this ends up going down, we have to, I don't even know what to do. And several of us have been talking, several of the actual real YouTubers, we've been talking and trying to say, how do we use our influence to try to get people together? Like, if you think about it, if it's real deal Holyfield and it's going to go down, how many people do you know that are going to come and fight with you? Or if it even gets to that point. Now, I know, like I said, I'm going to get a lot of shit and a lot of hate for this, but I hope that you guys share this, because this might be my last Marfugal TV video for a minute. I don't know. The thing is we've got to come with a game plan. We have to get everybody mobilized. We have to actually... The crazy part is everybody's so private. Nobody wants to know, nobody wants them to know their real name. They're online. They're secretive. But if there's any people that want to get part of this list, basically get a part of this and be real about it and see if there's other people that are near you, you might need it. And if you don't, then you've made friends, or you've actually have some back if something does happen. As far as what would 482 days even be from July? It was like July 19th, I believe. I forget. I got to see the paper again. So that would be next year, 2019. If not, 482, 350. I am so bad at math. Well, we're going to figure this out, and then, man, I would love it for somebody to clip that part and be like, Marf is bad at math. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate Juicy J and Mary Tyndall for subscribing. This isn't going to be a long stream tonight. I really want you guys to think about this. I know there's incredible people. There's, like I said, ex-law enforcement, current law enforcement, ex-military, current military. There are ex-three-letter agencies here. Please, let's come up with a plan. I know Shauna has a lot of experience, 9 years in the military, master's in business, and has done emergency planning on a huge scale. So if we can get something together and actually put something there, I think that we would be way better off than any other, I'm not saying start a militia, but it's getting to this crazy ass point. And you don't have to believe me. You can go out and do your own stuff. You can see what's going on around us. I think it's only prudent to actually prepare for things like this. So I'm going to be looking into this for the next week and a half, 2 weeks. I think I'm going to be traveling. I mean, like, this has really pushed me this far. Like, I'm going to get out and go, most likely down to Oregon. I'm also going to go probably east. I'm going to talk to some people that I've been actually talking to online. I'm talking about people that are ex-military. I want to get some interviews of what they think. There's a couple people that will go on with blurred faces. So I really need to get the message out there as much as I can. So I appreciate every one of you guys tuning in. Unbelievable, 450 people watching. Anyways, you guys have a great night. I really want to thank, there's way too many of you to thank, but Blondie, I really appreciate you. Lots of new names. I apologize if I will get to meet you eventually. RJL Harris, Kim Brown, Resolve 43. Now, see a lot of people I've never seen. Hey, Marf, that's awesome. I see you guys in all sorts of other channels, so I appreciate you guys coming by today, tonight, whatever you want to call it. This pulling out of the U.S. treaty with Russia, limiting, people should be seeing the signs by now. It doesn't take a genius to realize there's reasons behind all of this. It's not just all puffing chests. It's because there are actual bureaucratic things that hold us back from doing certain things. We do plenty of stuff in secret, but we also have to do things out in the open. They are going to be absolutely... I mean, they're going to go nuts building new stuff, and they're going to do it publicly. We have all sorts of secret programs, but now it's going to come out in the open. You are going to see the United States build up one of the biggest arsenals you've ever seen. And this is all under Trump, which, hell, I have to say, I'd rather have it than not. I mean, either way, if something big went down, I would rather go down basically with MAD rather than just us being annihilated by some sort of crazy missile. I mean, Russia doesn't really bluff that much. I mean, yes, Putin could be lying about his hypersonic, supersonic missile that can literally fly forever and go low and basically go around all sorts of detection. He could be lying about his torpedo nuclear missile that can basically go through and change direction and do all this stuff. He could be, or maybe he's telling the truth. Because if you think about how fast technology has gone, think about what weapons are doing. Think about what we have. The regular person can take a drone and fly it 6 miles away, drop down, drop a pizza off, and then come back. This is all stuff that's happening. We're going to have flying cars. This isn't the future anymore. This is now. And the last war that we've had way too long ago in the deep state's eyes. So I appreciate you guys. I want to thank, there's a couple of new patrons. Lori Salawata, thank you for pledging $1. Rajani, thank you again. Thank you, Kelly Marks, again. Thank you, Efren Oliveris, Lori Philman, Deborah Sutton, Shirley Graham, Jennifer. I'm going to be, I posted the video today to the patron, the one that I took off of YouTube yesterday because of the copyright stuff. I did post it just for you guys, just because I cannot have that on my main channel. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but for you guys, it's private. So yeah, the video's there, and then I'm going to be posting some smaller, like 1-minute news stories on there. I'm not going to do anything behind a paywall or anything, but you guys have been there for a long time, and I didn't do enough for patrons, so I'm going to kind of go this next week and basically do a lot of live videos there. So thank you guys. I appreciate everybody that supported me through this. I want to travel. Like, this is my thing. I want to get into people's faces, and that's, I don't believe they're telling even a percentage of the truth, and I think that we are all going to go down in flames if we don't at least know what's coming our way. So I appreciate it. Now UMCM. Now you didn't. Oh, now you see me. Now I feel like an idiot. Thank you guys. And thank you Jabney7 for subscribing. This pulling out and everything, this is all big news. I hope you guys be safe. I really do. I hope you guys be prepared. I really do. And let's see. Hold on, if chat would stop for a second. Sherilyn Mari, I hope that answers your question. Now you're a mod. Okay. Jasmine, save yourself, sheeple. All of my another thing too. Thank you to all of my original subscribers that have stuck with me since my original video. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all my Hawaii people. I don't know if Robert's here or any of the other Hawaii people, but aloha and hang loose. All right, guys. Demon Hunter, man, I honestly can't say enough. Like, when I see all of you guys that have been here forever, I mean, it really, it makes me almost emotional. So I really appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared.